All right, my friends, welcome to episode 376 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor, and over there's Anthony, the dev, and we waited to watch Last of Us episode 9 before we recorded this podcast. So we're fresh off the season finale. This is going to be spoilers for the show, for the series, for everything. So here we go. Woo!
Oh boy.
Holy shit, man.
First off, best video game adaptation ever?
I was going to say this morning, I was like, I'm going to start off the podcast by saying best video game adaptation ever. And I was like, is that hyperbole? And now I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's the best. Simply the best.
Because it nails everything that the game did. Like, it's thematically the game. Like,
Yeah,
the story
absolutely.
of the game, they did not change the themes at all. They hit the major points, and if anything, they adapted it for the medium and made it better.
Yeah, they made it better because the medium allows you to unpack that stuff that maybe, like, I don't know, texts or codexes or, audio logs or whatever may fill in. But, like, the way that they were able to unpack the story, and even especially at the end, my wife was like disappointed. She was hoping for like a positive, satisfying resolution,
Sure.
which I knew from the beginning before we started tonight. She was like, do you think I'm going to like the ending? I was like, I don't know if I like the ending. She's
Yeah.
like, oh shit. But at the end, she was like, first of all, he's selfish, but then and then that was kind of it, right? And I was like, yeah, the question that we wrestle with at the end of the game is like, is he the good guy or the bad guy? And when I played the game, I was like, it was a little more nuanced, not nuanced, but like harder for me to tell. But watching the show, I was like, he's the bad guy. Like, for me, what he did was so selfish. Like, the world needed something else. Ellie wanted something else, and he did what he wanted, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, and the key thing in here, and this is the thing right now, and I mean it comes up in the second game as well, but they make it clear here, Ellie doesn't know that what she has to sacrifice. They do not tell her.
Exactly. Yes, that's right.
And so that's the only part where I feel like on the Marlene Firefly side, they are in the wrong. She should know what she has to give up.
Yeah.
And be okay with it. Like,
right, because she
you can't
says,
you can't just take her life, her unknowing.
Right, because she says, we'll go anywhere you want to after this is over.
Yeah,
we'll
she
go to
thinks
Tommy's,
she gets
we'll
to
go
live.
Sheep. Yeah, exactly. So that is the one thread. You're right. The one thread that makes it seem like maybe...
and that's the whole thing. No side is right here.
Yeah.
Because no side's giving Ellie the choice.
Right.
Joel could have given her the choice at the theoretical in there. He could have.
You mean like woken her up and said, hey, what do you want?
Yeah, or when like Marlene's there, been like she's putting her gun down. I'm like, okay, we're gonna wait for her to wake up, and you're gonna tell her, what she has to do for this. And there's still always the question there, and they frame this in the show a lot more, if I remember. It's just so long since I played the game, about how the Fireflies are always searching for a cure. They've thought they've had a cure before.
Right.
They don't know this is a guaranteed cure. Marlene, it would say it's unreliable narrator from Marlene saying that they think this is a cure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why this ending and this whole story of the game is actually really impactful, is because there isn't a true easy right wrong here. I mean, Joel is doing a lot of horrible crap there, and he's selfish.
He just goes into beast mode at the end.
He
there.
does.
Like,
they do a great job in the show of really showing. Again, this is not a video game, so they don't have all the gameplay segments between where you're shooting everybody and killing a bunch of shit.
I mean, they show him doing it.
They show him. No, that's what I mean. Here, you got to hear it through the whole season. They don't do it a ton.
Oh, yeah,
but you always hear about how Joel's a killer. He killed people. He's like intense, and is good at it.
Yep.
Well, they paid that off.
Yeah.
Here. And you see him go through the hospital in the show, and you're like, oh my god. Like,
it felt like survival horror to me, where like you can't waste a bullet. You keep switching the guns out.
He's on a mission, and he's just doing what he needs to get done.
Like a machine. But god damn it. Like the show made me feel like it was more definitive that Joel did the wrong thing, but you're right. Ellie didn't know. So now I'm back to fuck.
And they were very clear about that, because Marlene's like, she won't be afraid. She won't, like, they didn't tell her. They just put her under.
Yep.
either she was still unconscious from the flashbang
right.
grenade, and they just immediately drugged her and got her under, or they lied to her to get her to go under for tests.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But the show itself, like,
beginning to end, like I think I've said on the podcast, but I definitely told you, I'm gonna wait till it comes to Blu-ray. I'm not gonna get a subscription. And my wife happened to get a subscription for NWSL, and I was like, well, fuck, I gotta watch The Last of Us. And holy fuck, this is like, I want to immediately rewatch this series. This is like one of my favorite television series. I'm high off the ending, or this whole thing. I'm close to it, but I haven't felt like this since like maybe season 1 of Game of Thrones, maybe. Where I felt like it was encapsulating my favorite parts of a story that I've already experienced.
Yeah. They did a great job of that. It added things that I mean, episode 3.
Episode 3 is like one of the best ever.
Yeah, it's just like, and that's not at all in the game, but it works so perfectly. Again, if you go listen to the podcast that they do I
have been.
I mean, that's episode 3 did such a good job, and I mean that was Mason having to pitch to Druckmann, hey, I want to change Bill and Frank. I want to change this, and here's why it's better to do it this way.
Yep.
And it is, I think, for the show at least, it's much better.
Because it's
about
just kind of an asshole.
Yeah, they like really dig into it, but then they're like, no, and Druckmann has said this, the theme of the game is about love, and not we're romantically in love and like each other. It's like the end here. Love can drive people to do awful things.
Yeah.
Truly awful things. For all the wrong reasons. And the changing the Bill and Frank thing is just another aspect of love there.
Yep.
Like, and they wanted to really emphasize, like, if you look through the continued, like, little arcs throughout the season, the brothers in episodes, was that 4 and 5? Or is it 5 and 6?
I think it's 5 and 6.
Yeah, 5 and 6. No, it was 4 and 5, because they get the truck in 3, and the end of 3, and then they're in Kansas City in 4.
I guess I went faster through the last, because I thought it was 5 and 6. Huh. Okay, anyway.
4 and 5.
Yeah, what's your point, though?
But the point being that all these little arcs are different aspects of love and relationships.
Yeah, and the God, I'm still spinning for this.
Familial love.
Yeah, but the brothers were
love.
The brothers were such an interesting juxtaposition to the end, where Joel won't allow the thing to happen to Ellie to save everybody, whereas the older brother Henry kills Sam before he can hurt other people, and it was maybe more instinctual than anything else, but
it seemed very instinctual in the way he was playing it. Well, then the results of it being, what have I done? And regretting what he had done. But it's.
Well, and then that juxtaposition there, or Joel finally tells the real story about who shot and missed him.
Yep.
With his daughter dying, Henry didn't miss when he shot himself after it. Dude, those HBO, the podcasts, and I'm listening to the Kind of Funny thing and also the HBO thing, and the HBO thing, the behind the scenes, it's amazing. And I didn't even know there was behind the scenes until episode 8, where there was no next one to go to, and it kept going. I was like, what the fuck? Holy shit. So I gotta go back and watch those.
Watch all the little behind the scenes chunks. Yeah, they're pretty good.
I can't think of, the only thing that stands out to me as something that I thought didn't work well was, and I can't remember her name now, Kathleen, I think it was. I thought Kathleen's arc and character was, is the only thing that stood out as like not masterful. It was okay, but
because they created her for the Kansas City thing.
Yeah. And like, kids just have to die.
Yeah,
it was a little weird.
Just completely broken person, basically.
Yeah, totally.
There wasn't a lot of nuance to that character at all. Just a unsympathetic villain, really.
Yeah, and that's what it stood out as, is just like, this is cookie cutter villain. Like, okay, this is not. I'm noticing now. Hell yeah. Episode 9 of the podcast is Mason, Baker, Druckmann, and who we haven't talked about yet in episode 9.
Yeah.
Ashley Johnson.
That was intense at the beginning.
Oh. Super intense. And I had forgotten that I had heard that they had cast her as Ellie's mother. But then when they showed her, I was like, it was so quick, and there were cuts. The cuts were so quick. I was like, is that Ashley Johnson? And then I finally got like a close up of the face. Like, holy shit, yes. And then just the birth of Ellie while the mom's getting bit by a fucking clicker.
Yep.
Or an infected.
Oh man, holy crap! This show, like,
wee.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch it again. I can't wait. Like all my people that don't watch, people don't play video games at my work are watching this show, and we're watching it before I was, and they're like, "You need to watch this show." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll fucking watch it now," because everyone's talking about it. I want to be in on the conversation as it's happening.
Yeah, in the end, I mean, knowing the end of the game, I knew that the end of this, I knew they were probably incredibly unlikely to deviate from the ending.
Of the God,
like.
Yeah.
No, that's like a very important part of the themes of the show, of the game, the whole story. That's a key part, and they didn't. I'm just like, I think this is going to set a lot of people who haven't been spoiled or have no clue about it, just enrage them.
Yeah, I was curious to judge that based on my wife's reaction, and it was very much just like disappointment. Like, why? It's so selfish. Why would he do that? That was kind of it. She wasn't angry. She was just like, that's so selfish. And what she said at the end, actually, because when it was happening, and they were hiking back toward Jackson Hole, I think it was, or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's Jackson Hole.
Jackson Hole. And Ellie's like, tell me that what you told me about the Firefly was true. And and I felt so uneasy watching like the last maybe 8 minutes or so. And I didn't know why until my wife said, this is abuse. And I was like, yeah, that's what's standing out to me. That's why I'm really unsettled by this, because he's abusing her emotionally at this point.
Yep.
And that just is fucking gross. And that didn't come across to me too much in the game.
Well, they don't do the walk back in the game, is the thing. They cut at the truck as they're driving, if I remember right. Like,
no, I think you're right. Yeah.
It's like where he explains is like just telling her like pretty much line for line what he says in the truck, and then it cuts to black credits. There is no Jackson to go back to in the first game or anything like that. So that's drawn out far more in the show of being uncomfortable and uneasy with what he's done.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I love the Jackson Hole piece, because obviously knowing what happens in the first fucking 3 hours or so of Last of Us 2, which I like desperately wanted to talk to my wife about, and I didn't. But like, they zoomed in on the doctor for a reason.
They did. Like, if you look at the credits, so I mean, the nurses are masked, so you don't know.
Yeah.
But one of them is Laura Bailey.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, it's in the credits. Nurses. Laura Bailey. There's Laura Bailey is credited as one of them.
Okay.
It's not like that's actually Abby, but it's a fun.
No, of course.
It's a fun little inclusion there.
Yeah, I mean, Ashley Johnson wasn't fucking Ellie either, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, goddamn, when Ashley Johnson talks, I just hear Ellie.
Oh yeah.
Ooh boy.
But you got to imagine that Laura Bailey will have an actual like.
Oh yeah.
Full on like supporting role. In one of the episodes in season 2.
Absolutely. She's like, I don't know, be the one to like consoling Abby or something like that,
Probably something there.
They're fucking just they're so generous with that, with Baker and Johnson.
Yep.
Because I think there's some adaptations where they don't really do that. They want to just stay away from the voice actors or whatever. But like, it made me so emotional to see Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson in this show. And like, it just felt very stupid, because I'm like, I don't know these people, but I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
And everyone involved in this shit. And it's like, when I finally saw the behind the scenes with Mason, I've never seen him before. I looked at him like, holy shit, he has a fucking part. He plays in Mythic Quest.
Yeah. I think I've on this podcast talked about Mason is so weird in his writing. Like, so, I mean, he's done this. He got a bunch of awards for Chernobyl. Yeah. And like, that was his first like drama breakout. Right. But this is a dude who wrote Scary Movie 2.
Yes, exactly. Isn't that weird?
I'm like, who the hell is this dude?
And he's written like at least so far in Mythic Quest, one episode per season that's like a flashback that's like totally like a weird non sequitur from the rest of the theme of show, but he plays a fucking tester in the game or in the show for like 3 episodes too.
So
like
weird,
creepy dude. But
he's
boy,
written a lot of comedy and stuff.
Yeah.
Before weirdly doing Chernobyl. Like,
I need to watch Chernobyl, no man. I need to watch.
I've heard amazing things about Chernobyl. Like, it won a number of Emmy awards for like best limited series and writing and all that crap. So I've heard that it's really good, and I had some friends and coworkers that watched it and just loved it. But yeah, it's cool to see all those characters like in there. It's cool that they like clearly now, having made the second game, they can integrate parts of that story better into the first game, like Jackson. Like Jackson doesn't exist in the game. Like you meet Tommy at the dam that they talk about because they're gonna set up Jackson. It makes the whole thing a little bit more interesting when Joel is in this episode. We don't have to go through with this. We could just go back, and
because they have somewhere to go back to.
They have somewhere to go back to, and somewhere good to go back to. Exactly. Like that is a possibility.
That's why our choice was so much more impactful. It's like, nope, we're going to see it through to the end. We finish what we start. Unless you kill everybody.
Kill everybody, and
I love in the parking garage when Marlene shows up that Joel is looking around everywhere. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, there's more than just her down here. Like, and he's fucking dead. Nope, it's just her.
Yep. Because he killed everybody else.
Yes, everyone else he just brutally murdered everybody, and it kept making me think of Nathan Drake, just a fucking murder hobo.
Yeah.
And then I laughed out loud when they're going through the building and he sees a fucking ladder up on the second floor.
Oh yeah,
I'll give you a boost and bring that down. I started laughing. She's like, "Why are you Oh, my wife. Is that in the game?" I was like, "Oh, it's in the game a lot."
Yeah, that's a thing that she does.
Ladders down. Oh, fuck.
The series is very good. I'm incredibly interested to see how they handle part 2 now. Part 2 is a much longer game, so I have a feeling it's going to be at least 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think it makes sense thematically to break it up because you've got Ellie, you've got Abby. You know, you're going through like Seattle day 1, day 2, day 3 with Ellie, and then you're going through with Abby.
Yeah.
I don't know if they break it up like that. I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do it that way for a show. But it's gonna be important that you spend time in Abby's shoes because that's the point of the second game is to then, like, you hate Abby so much while playing Ellie.
Yeah.
Like, and then they flip it, and then they make you sympathetic for Abby.
Yep.
And so structurally, TV is different, so they're going to mess with it differently. But I still think thematically they're going to hit that point of trying to make the audience be like, I hate this person, to being, oh, maybe they're not like most people. Many things all at the same time.
Yeah. This show, like, I can't stop thinking about it. I wrote a fucking song like related to it. I went back to Last of Us 2. And I'm sad that I ever put it down because, man, is it fucking good. And then, yeah, I can't shake it. I would be so sad if I didn't watch this right now.
Yeah, I would have been sad because I wouldn't have anyone to talk to.
Is your wife watching it?
No, not at all. Yeah, she's like, she said, like, it sounds really heavy. And I'm like, it is fucking.
Oh yeah.
Incredibly heavy. I feel this weight on me after watching the show. And she's like, yeah, I'm out. Never. This is not for her. She likes lighter than that and is not interested.
Yeah, my wife too. She watched episode 3. I like made her watch episode 3, which I'm glad. She enjoyed it. And then she watched 6 with me, and then she watched 8 and 9.
Okay.
She watched 8 because we finished watching something else, and then I put it on and watched, and she was sitting doing something else, like crocheting or, I don't know, flipping through Twitter or whatever. And then over the course of 20 minutes, she stops doing whatever she's doing and is watching the show. Because the fucking relationship between Joel and Ellie, it was the fucking preacher episode.
Yeah, the cannibals.
Yeah, the cannibals, exactly. Like the first time they brought out the food, and my wife was like, "Why is he eating different food than them. I was like, oh, do you notice that it's different? Something about the food, isn't there? She said. I was like, maybe.
Huh. Oh, it's just venison.
Yeah,
Really?
it's just venison. Yeah. It's just venison. Ugh. And Ellie sees a fucking ear on the floor.
Yep.
I remember, I don't know if somewhere in the podcast in the last year, we were like, why are they remaking The Last of Us 1 again? Yeah, now I get it. I really want to go fucking buy that remake and play this fucking game.
Because they redid it for this, so that all the people watching this show have a very easy modern way to play it. And sell some PS5s at the same time. Which, if we want to relate this back to games, PS5 is selling like fucking gangbusters.
Oh my god, it's just flying off the shelves. Which
it's actually available on the shelves, and now that it's just going off the shelves, like it's up like over 200% in sales. It's 3-1 against Xbox now.
Yep.
It's beating the Switch in total sales.
Yep.
Each month, like, yep, there it goes. It's taken off.
It's taken a while for them to get to stock, which that's part of it, like the pent up demand. But then, like, this show has got to have something to do with it, you know? Boy, wow. Can you imagine if they could do this kind of thing with, like, in my head, like Horizon, which is a story that I didn't connect with very well. But if you did something that you could make it better, then sell those games, sell more PS, whatever. Fuck, I don't know what's next. I know The Last of Us 2 is next, but like we're in like a golden era of video game adaptations. And I know Mario movie is not an adaptation of a video game specific one, but it's like all of them. And everything I've seen from that so far is just like, that's going to be like, I'm going to the movie theater to see this. And I haven't been to the movie. It's going to take me to the movie theater. I'm so excited for that.
See. There is a Horizon Zero Dawn TV show.
It's on Amazon, I think.
No.
Netflix?
Well, Netflix bought it. It's being done by some other production studio. Netflix is just the distributor.
Oh, okay.
And it's producing series 4 for Netflix. Amazon has Fallout, which is...
They do?
Yeah, Amazon. Wow. They've shown a couple images because they're filming it. The Fallout TV show, which could be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where... The thing with Fallout, I'm like, where are you setting it? Is it just its own story? Are you trying to do 3? Vault
it would be cool if they did 3.
What is Vault 33? That's not Fallout 3.
I don't think so. Isn't Vault... what is Fallout 3?
Not as much is known about Vault 33 as the show has not been released. It's about a new vault. It's a vault. It's not trying to redo any of the story of the game.
I mean, maybe that could be more interesting. I'm not sure. There's just something so compelling about this story because of the way that it ends. That I don't know. Like they said in the after. Did you watch the after piece for this episode?
I did not. No.
Oh, okay. I won't say anything about that.
Oh, yeah. But actually, we've had some interesting discussions at work on this because we've had a Halo TV show that has universally been like not liked, pretty bad.
Right.
But having some people at System Era, one of the founders who had worked at 343 before 343 had a name, he's the first to say it. He's like, Halo doesn't have enough like meat on the bones to make a compelling narrative to adapt it to something else easily. He's like, Last of Us easily has enough meat on its story bone to adapt into other mediums, to really dig into different things. It's like, there aren't interesting characters in Halo. Like,
no.
They're all just tropes that rarely have any arc to them. Like, there's not character growth for the most part.
Right.
Like, he's like, and they're trying to stretch that out to be like a 10-episode, 10-hour TV show. No, it's not going to happen. Like, I mean, you got to invent so much crap to make that work.
They're trying to stretch it out to a 5-6 game series.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work because Master Chief doesn't grow.
Nope.
Sorry, I know there's some like Cortana is rampant and that whole thing. Maybe Cortana grows. Who knows? But Master Chief, no, exactly right. There's like lore around it, and the people who love Halo keep talking about, oh, well, it's really in the lore. It's like, fuck that.
Yeah. I think Halo could make a good popcorn action movie. Like, give 2 hours and just make a big, like, alien sci-fi action film.
Yep.
Thumbs up. Yep. But when you try to stretch it out to be, like, really big, meaningful, like character-driven story, nah, that's not it. It's not the property for it.
No, it's the wrong choice.
Yeah. Last of Us is the right choice. Like,
yeah.
you just play the game, and you're like, yeah, this has. I mean, it's very cinematic to begin with.
Well, I mean, even. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, what you just said about Halo sort of does apply to Mario too, where, like, you know, there are lots of cartoony characters and lots, you know, huge depth of the bench is large, but there's not like the story is shallow. So putting it into a movie and flipping it where you're not going after fucking Peach is going after Luigi with Mario, does add enough interest.
Yeah, and they're just doing an animated movie, like,
and it's a movie, and you're done. It's not a fucking series. Yeah.
Look at a lot of animated movies. Ignore Spider-Verse because it's incredible.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It is so good, and it has a lot of arc in characters. But if you look at like, a lot of the more, I wouldn't even say like, family animated movies, maybe even more kid focused, they're not complex things.
Yeah, right.
And that Mario fits perfectly into that. It will be a fun visual ride with a very straightforward story to follow through. And for people who have played the games, they will probably see a lot of Easter eggs that excites them and makes them happy.
They're already in the fucking trailer. There's so many things in the trailer. Like the fucking, when Mario, if you saw the latest one, when Mario falls off the car and flips over the edge of Rainbow Road down to the next, that's a fucking shortcut, right?
Yeah.
The Rainbow Road shortcut in Mario Kart 64, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
And then Mario will talk, and it's going to be Chris Pratt, and you're going to be like, shut up. Let's just go. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But
everything seems well cast except for that.
Yeah.
But really I don't know how you're going to cast his voice, you know? You don't want to listen to Charles Martinet for 2 hours, but...
No.
Whatever.
But, I mean, the key part is Mario just doesn't talk a lot.
Yes, exactly.
And the game, it just doesn't. It's laughs and grunts and, like, little one-liners every once in a while. But...
Yep.
Like a lot of video games like that, you're playing the character and they're not meant to speak. Like, he doesn't sit there and dialogue with Peach. Voice acting. Like, that's not what this is.
They're deep conversations. I think it's kind of the same, I don't know what the right word is, but cloud hanging over any sort of adaptation of Legend of Zelda. And this is a weird thing, and maybe there are Mario mangas, but Link doesn't talk in the games, obviously.
Nope.
But he fucking talks in the manga.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, he's not voiceless in the manga. So there at least is some alternate universe where Link does never shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that exists for Mario. So
there is one I'm looking here. Super Mario Manga Mania. It's on Viz. I don't know if it's actually... When was this published? Let's see. You could buy it now, so it exists now. It's in print. It came out in 2020.
Oh, wow. Okay.
160 pages of Mario story.
Oh, interesting. Maybe I'll check it out. Because I'm even thinking of, like, the story-heavy, Paper Mario, Origami King.
Yeah.
Mario doesn't talk. He has a sidekick who talks.
Yep.
And I'm sure from, like, Inside Story and whatever else, I don't think he talks either.
It's a design decision.
Like, yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's the same reason that Gordon Freeman in Half-Life doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's you're inhabiting the character.
Like, right, you're the link to the character.
Yeah, jeez, Zelda. Yes, in the Zelda games the same way.
Yep.
I have a feeling if the Mario movie does well enough, we'll see a animated Zelda at some point.
The Mario movie is gonna fucking it's gonna make so much money. I can't see it not making money. God,
I feel like it will. I mean, you have to be able to be willing to go into a theater.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't want to go to a theater. I want to go see this in the theater.
There.
You know? Like, yeah. I can't not. I'm probably going to take my daughter, although I know it's going to be a train wreck. It's going to be, she doesn't have a concept of what a movie theater is. Every single thing that she keeps bringing up is either, is all live theater, because that's all we've ever taken her to.
Sure.
So she's just like, I don't know what that is. Like, imagine a screen the size of our house. And she's like, what?
Why does that exist? Why would you do that?
Oh my god, I can't wait for that movie.
I know. Speaking of movies, so Oscar's on. We should just briefly, because they're all done now.
Oh, is it all done now? Okay.
Yeah, it's all done. So
nice.
We saw Ki Hui Kwan won for Best Supporting, Everywhere All at Once.
Yep.
Jamie Lee Curtis won for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Her first Oscar.
I know. She's been in there so long. Jesus. Yeah. All Quiet on the Western Front won a bunch of technical awards and other things. I haven't wanted to watch that because we're talking about heavy. Ooh.
Well, I have a friend here who is like, you got to watch that. I'm like, I cannot watch another white dude war movie. I can't do it.
Well, I mean, it's just going to be brutal. World War One. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. Writing original screenplay, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
How could it not?
Film editing, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Of course, the editing was brilliant.
Yep.
Directing, Daniel Scheinert. For Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yep.
Actress, Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
She got it. And then Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Holy shit, it won everything.
Yeah, it won almost every category it was in. It lost a couple here and there, but yeah, it cleaned up. It's impressive. So a lot of good movies, and now I'm like, okay, should go see a movie again at some point, because the last movie I saw in theater was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Right.
When my work just rented out a theater, and an entire theater screen, and 20 of us, at max 20 of us, could go. That's
so cool.
And only 15 of us went.
Oh,
but
really?
Still, I know, we were just all just sitting in random spots in a
Very
giant
far
theater.
Away from each other.
Yeah. Masked. And we're just like, yep. But I got to watch a movie, and it was great.
Yep. Oh, man. Well,
hopefully they'll do that again for something. I don't know.
My wife was talking about, or she had mentioned, she was telling me before I left to come out here that Jamie Lee Curtis had won Best Supporting Actress for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I was like, aren't you glad I chose that movie for us to watch one night? Same thing with Last of Us. Like, these are two things you would never watch on your own.
Yeah.
But they were both phenomenal. A little weird for her, but, she sees the value in them, even though she's not head over heels about them or would want to watch them again.
Yeah.
But she saw the value in them, thought they were interesting and engaging. Yeah.
My wife won't watch The Last of Us. She's just like, you tell me about it. She's like, nah, she's known, and I've known for most of our relationship. Like, The Last of Us would wreck her, and then also just, like, emotionally, like, devastate her for quite some time after watching it. Like, and it's just not good for her mental health.
Do you think that's true for episode 3 by itself, too?
No, I think she'd probably enjoy that. And maybe we'll watch it at some point. It is still heavy, though. And it's pretty...
God, of course, yeah. It's a murder-suicide kind of thing.
It's a brutal episode. Oh, God, they're going to win so many freaking awards for this show.
If that doesn't win... Oh, my God, that episode alone doesn't win something major.
So, I mean... Offerman probably getting at least nominated for an Emmy for that. Man, I can't think of the other guy's name because I hadn't seen him anything before.
Yep.
I assume they're both getting nominated because they're both phenomenal in that. And then for like leads, Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal are going to get nominated for sure. Like, they embodied those characters so well in The Last of Us.
Yep.
Shocking. So, God.
So, I mean, so well that, I mean, it's obviously what Mazin and Druckmann put into the script is obviously what's in the fucking game anyways, but they didn't play the game, and they still came across as such good representation of those characters.
Yep.
I think I probably still prefer game Ellie, but I prefer show Joel. So that's a weird.
Yeah.
I mean, Ashley Johnson is just.
Yeah, she is very good. But yeah, that was insane. I have a feeling if this has done so well, you probably see at least a bunch of other video game adaptations get a boost from this. At least try. Maybe 10% of them will actually be good.
That's the problem, is I don't want to see like a fucking smash and grab for IP to like put out shit to ride some sort of fucking popular wave that are just dumb adaptations. Like, put some heart and soul into it. I don't know, like, what stands out to you as like something that would be good? The Witcher? Witcher 3? That's happening now.
Yeah, no. Trying to think of other, like, because again, going back to the thing of like, there's games I really like, but they don't have the narrative meat, I don't think, for a good adaptation.
What about Mass Effect?
Totally, Mass Effect could totally work, I think.
Yeah.
It has enough there that I think they build on. I thought someone licensed that at some point for a show.
So I could see that. I mean, obviously 2 is one of our favorites, but like the
2,
suicide mission,
yeah.
and all that stuff, like really could be impactful. I'm not sure if 1 or 3 hit those highs, but
I mean, that's the thing. I think 1 comes down is it has more meat than like Halo had on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still very much more of a sci-fi action movie. It's not trying to be like incredibly nuanced. I mean, Shepard doesn't have a huge arc in that.
Right.
Like Shepard through it. Like you start as upstanding person and you end the same way. Like you can be a dick on your way through, but you're still Spectre saving the universe, which isn't a bad thing. It can totally work. Like there's things like that work fine, and I don't think that story can be condensed into a movie. So you probably need at least like 6 episodes. Like I have no clue how you condense like the first game into a movie and make it worthwhile.
Yeah, as opposed to like Last of Us, where it's like you gotta adapt Last of Us so you can get to the first game. It's there. You're ready to go. That's your starting point. This is like you gotta adapt Mass Effect so you can get to Mass Effect 2. Like you gotta get through the first one.
Yeah, you gotta work. You have to take some work to do it, but I feel like Amazon has the rights to it.
To Mass Effect.
Yep, Amazon has the film and TV rights.
Okay.
This is on PC Gamer.
Boy, I feel like there's
Amazon said they secure them in 2021.
Okay, that's pretty recent. Okay.
Yeah. Earliest speculation is potentially 2025.
Yeah,
if they're gonna if they do it.
Yeah. Did they close out The Expanse?
They did. I need to watch the final season. I've heard decent things. They didn't end it at all the way the books end, but the books do a time jump, so a time skip.
Yeah.
And they were not doing that. The last 3 books are like 30, 40 years after the first chunk of 6 books.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that they did their best to kind of like pick and choose and adapt things to finish out the story, but they weren't going to try to like age up all the actors.
Right.
And film a season and just be bad.
Holden is
Yeah, so old. I've heard that it ends decently. Like I just need to finish it. Maybe I'll do that now that The Last of Us is done. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, there's not a lot of games where I'm like, yeah, that would like I want that as a TV show.
No, because there's so many. And it has stood out to me with Last of Us for a long time. Ever since you go back to the podcast where I talked about it, I don't like the gameplay very much of Last of Us.
Yep.
I love the story. So it like really triples down on the story in that game, and whatever, the gameplay is fine, but the story is just so miles above the gameplay. Even though it's good, like that means the story is just that great. And like, what other games do that?
Yeah,
there's a lot. Obviously much more focus on gameplay because that's what we're fucking here for. I could just see like, oh, what's popular game right now? Vampire Stars. Let's option that and make a movie out of it or a show out of it. Like what? No. You know what? Castlevania anime. That was good.
Oh, yeah, that worked out. That was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Boy, did they! I mean, I would say loosely based on like Castlevania game.
Very loose.
Like,
exactly.
They're like, hey, there's these characters, and they're roughly the same as they were in the game, like roughly. But now to add a ton of stuff to it because there's not much story in the game.
Yeah,
like kill Dracula, go.
Yep.
God, I just thought of one that I'm like, oh, they're totally gonna probably do it. There's gonna be a Destiny show at some point, isn't there?
Of course, they've already talked about them being like multimedia now, and
yeah,
again, same thing. Like you put lore in the Grimoire cards, like outside the game, and then your fucking plot is like batshit bonkers. Ugh, I don't even get it. But yeah, they're gonna try. Maybe they'll be successful if they are smart about it. But
I'm looking at top selling on Steam right now, and I'm like, oh right, there were movies and stuff. I mean, Resident Evil. Yeah. There's been a whole ton of movies and a TV show, and none of it's particularly good.
Yes, exactly.
There was a Monster Hunter movie. I watched it on a plane flight.
That's right.
It's not good. It was a perfect movie to watch on a plane.
I feel like it just it's just constantly like underselling gamers. Like, oh, they just want action. They don't care. Like gamers give a fuck about story quite a bit.
Final Fantasy 14 here. They're not going to do a movie beyond that, but there was a Final Fantasy movie and it was not good.
Yes, I remember that.
Basically almost bankrupted Square.
Yeah.
And that's why they're Square Enix now. It opened up that possibility. Is there anything? No. I look at this like top selling list and stuff and I'm like, no, I don't want to see movies of any of this. And movies that have, or TV shows that have been made of this, aren't good. Yeah.
So we just found the unicorn, basically?
Kind of. Or you had people making it that truly cared.
Yeah.
Druckmann was, of course, involved. But then you hear all the behind-the-scenes stuff in the podcast. Mazin understood the game and the story. And was like, okay. Like, he knew truly what the story was about and all the subtext and everything. It was like, we can do this. And that's what it takes. It's not just, it's fun, put it on screen. It's like, no, you want those people that truly just understand what it's about. But then also, Druckmann doesn't sound like he was like beholden to what was done in the game.
Which I think to his benefit and the show's benefit, because they did add things and change things that made it, people talk about it, first of all.
Work for the TV, work as a TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the one complaint that I've seen, and I think is valid for the whole thing, and I don't think I would change it, is this is a show about the infected too being there, and there's really not that much infected in the show.
Not. Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But if you link at the game, the time that you deal with the infected is during gameplay.
Yep.
And there's no reason to have those segments in the TV show all the time.
Right.
Like, they did a couple set pieces of it, and you're like, yep, they exist, that's the world they're in, but that's not actually the heart of... That is an aspect of the world, but it's actually not that important to the story.
Well, in the game, the danger are the people.
Yeah,
and in
always.
The story too. The more dangerous thing is the people, the infected. I think they brought it in to show just enough for it to be a threat. And it was really noticeable to me because my wife was able to watch large chunks of the episodes we watched because she would not watch anything with infected. And it was just like enough for you to like, that threat is there, but it doesn't need to be everywhere because the threat's actually the other fucking people.
Yeah. You think aren't they doing God of War?
Oh, that's right. Someone has those rights. Who is that?
And I think that could work. The new God of War. I mean, it's already very cinematic to begin with. So, like, it's very similar to The Last of Us in that way. It's like the God of War 2018 is a very heavy story-driven, character-driven game.
Yep.
Prime, Amazon has those.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Sony's, been there for a while, but like the first-person narrative stories, and these lend themselves well to adaptations.
Yeah.
So maybe they've had a long
except
game.
Uncharted. That didn't work out so well.
I watched that while I was working, and it was okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. Which is that's what the games are. The games are fine. Like those games are like summer blockbusters.
Yep.
So could have been much better, but
But yeah, so God of War, that's actually probably one I'm excited for. I would be very interested to see how they translate a God of War.
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer to like what's on the horizon that could be as good as this, and it's probably God of War 2018.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I need to get back to Ragnarok too.
Yeah.
If I could get to those games if I weren't doing 2+ hour paralog chapters in fucking Fire Emblem Engage. Nice transition to what we've been playing. If you're not ready, let me know. We can.
No, I'm good. Let's go.
So I'm trying to, obviously I did the whatever the DLC or the whatever it's called. So I want to I'll do all the divine paralogs as I'm moving through the story. I'm getting toward the back end of the story, and I'm like, I want to get through and get the other characters from the bracelets and whatever else from the DLC. And there's a map with a character from Fates. Her name's like Selena or Cecilia or something.
Okay.
And the map is like the best map that I've seen in the game so far. It's like this underground. It seems like it's an underground sewer kind of thing where like there's only certain pathways you can go on. They're very narrow. It's not an open field. You can't, unless you have flyers, you can't fly across the gaps. So you just got to follow the kind of catwalks almost, and it's just very convoluted to get around the edges of the map to wind around, almost maze-like, to get into the middle where that character is you have to defeat. I somehow fucked up my saves, so I went in and saved, and it was the last save I'd had for like the last 2 hours. So who I picked as my team is who I was stuck with.
Ooh.
And I didn't know much about the map. So when I go into the map, it's full of dragons. It's full of flyers. And it's such that it's hard to traverse unless you have flyers. I didn't bring in a single flyer, and I didn't bring in a single archer.
Oh, fun.
So some of my rings obviously give me some, I think it's Lucina, for example, gives me a bow. So that's cool. But I brought like the wrong team because I was trying to level up people during this Divine Paralogue. And that was a mistake. So it's taken longer, but I'm probably at an hour and a half in, probably another 45 minutes to go for just one map.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I love it. It's fun. It's great. But I was just like, wow, I made some bad choices here, which is kind of cool because I'm pretty OP at this point. So it's nice to be knocked down a peg and have to really grind it out. I've got Anna in there and fucking had to rewind time twice. And like, okay, that was a dumb move because she fucking died. Whiffed on her fucking 90% hit.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
So been playing that. Been playing Last of Us 2. And then I picked up Tropical Freeze during the Mario Day sale. I've been meaning to get that on Switch for a long time because I love that platformer. I remember that it's hard. I forgot how hard. I thought Funky Mode would make it easy for my daughter to play with me. No. No. So my daughter loves it and wants to grind through Tropical Freeze with me, and we are getting our asses kicked. And she's enjoying it. And we're back to the Kirby thing where it's like backseat playing for her. And now it's so hard for even me. I'm just like, whatever, fuck it. Do whatever you want. And that has been my gaming this week.
All right. Mine has only been Octopath.
Oh, shit.
I mean, you've probably seen me on at times.
I have.
I am now approaching, I don't know how many hours I am. 60? Some of that definitely is idle, because sometimes I just didn't turn off the Switch. It just was sitting there. But I've finished one storyline completely, and it was good. I enjoyed that.
Nice.
I am trying to finish another storyline and getting my ass kicked by the boss.
Dang.
Just slapped down. It has 2 phases. I can consistently get through phase 1. I hit phase 2, and I just get stomped. Trying to figure that one out, what I need to do to make that happen. Yeah, I'm far more into this game than I ever was the first one.
Really? Okay.
Story's just better. The character stories themselves are just better and more interesting, and they just kind of draw me through a bit more. And I think the general balance and how to grind is more understandable. It's still very loose and open on what you need to, what you can do, but I think a little bit more guidance here and there to help you kind of like, okay, I need to gain some levels. I'm just going to go here, spend a half an hour. Now I'm going to go to the next chunk of story missions. I would say story chapters, not missions. And they're kind of have a better level spread between them, so you're kind of always jumping around and jumping between stories. Yeah, I just find it generally just a more compelling game overall. I'm gonna try to finish everybody's. I just need to now think on how I'm gonna beat this one boss.
Do you play it where you're basically finishing the main stories for 4 characters and then going back and getting the secondary characters or whatever?
No, I actually keep all my characters generally in level sync. I'll grind to make sure that like right now everyone is level between 46 and 48, and the last chapters for everybody is level 45.
Okay.
So I can just jump. Now I can just go to start hitting each of their final stories and get through it.
Right.
And then I know once you do that, then there's a whole next chunk of the game to get through that kind of ties it all together. Live Alive style.
Nice.
I mean, it makes sense now why that they brought Live Alive over in some ways, and also in HD2 to be like, yeah, this is Octopath kind of is just a more ambitious Live Alive. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to play this. I don't have a lot of other games I really want to be playing right now and then pick up.
Right, nothing till maybe Burning Shores.
Is that April?
That's April. That's April 21st or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
The next Jedi game got pushed to April as well.
Yeah.
So that I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know, because like if the date is to April 21st, I can't remember exactly what it was. That's mere weeks before Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
So I mean, we're
kind of
like
keeping myself open on that one. Like the Horizon DLC might just be perfect, a perfect scope to get done before
right.
Tears of the Kingdom.
It's amazing to me that there's a Horizon product coming out, not just before, at least this time, but still pretty close to
Zelda again.
Fucking Zelda again, exactly. Like these people cannot catch a fucking break.
They really can't. I mean, there's that.
But you're right. It's the right.
I'm not doing the open, the I would say the early access beta for Diablo 4, but I'll do the open beta when it's available the next weekend.
Oh, is it the next weekend?
Yeah, the 20. So this coming up, the weekend of the 17th.
Yep.
To the 19th is closed early access beta.
Okay.
If you pre-order, you can get into that, and then open beta for anybody is the 24th to the 26th.
Even if you didn't pre-order.
Yep.
Okay, well, fucking awesome, because I'm out of town at a convention this weekend, and I was like, I may pre-order just to get in there, but that's good to know.
I think it's for everybody.
Because all the previewers and such, just like, this is like maybe a return to form.
Maybe. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't hide it after this point. Like,
nope, exactly.
Next weekend, we're going to know. We're going to know how people really feel about this game and what it really looks like. Hey, I want to see if you have to pay for open beta. The wait is finally over. No, if you pre-purchase, you can get pre-purchase for early access to the open beta, but anyone can start playing in the open. Gets 2 days in open beta, which I guess is good because they need to hit the servers as hard as they can so they don't get the problems they had with Diablo 3.
Yes, exactly right. They want
where no one could play for a couple days.
This is a stress test, so
this is a complete stress test, and there's a good chance that this beta just doesn't even function because it's a stress test.
Yeah, right.
But it's better to do it now rather than do it at launch. So yeah, that's really it. And then really have Zelda. I probably won't get Diablo 4.
I won't.
It's just it's Zelda. Too. I mean, I'm gonna have to get done with Zelda, and then I have Final Fantasy 16, and I probably won't get Diablo 4 till after I do Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, because so many things come so closely together that you got to prioritize, right?
I do. I don't want to buy them all. I don't need to buy them all. I mean, I'll have to get past my FOMO that I'm not playing some of these games, but
you'll be playing other things. So.
Exactly. And I have my wife to help me remind me of being like, you don't need to buy it all the time. I'm like, you're right.
Yep. Although this week was funny. This is the first week ever where my wife was like, "Can you buy that video game?" Because the NWSL just got put into FIFA 23. So I bought FIFA 23 today. Very cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, haven't played it yet, but we will. But yeah, definitely understand that. I'm certainly in a buy mode right now. So I'm trying to.
I am not.
That's good.
My $300 of Final Fantasy Tactics figures actually came in. So.
Oh, nice. Yes. So no.
My budget is shot. For at least a little bit.
There's just been a lot.
3 figures, really cool figures, sitting on my desk.
Which ones are they?
Ramza, Agrius, and Delita.
Cool.
Kind of some of the main characters from Final Fantasy Tactics, and the models are modeled off their War of the Lions.
Oh, cool.
Art style and everything, and the cinematics. It's really cool to see how they translated that art style into like a 3D physical thing. It looks great. I usually don't give a damn about having things like this, but I'm like, I will do it for Final Fantasy Tactics.
Which they have to be remaking.
Right? For sure.
Assume.
Right?
They brought out Tactics Ogre.
They did.
So I don't think that's going to sell as well as Final Fantasy.
Actually, there was this is a neat aside. There was the Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers edition that came out, like that thing, and there was a little comment saying like, well, why did they bring that out? It's because they were afraid that people wouldn't be able to play the game anymore.
I thought that was cool. Yeah.
They're like, it was really at the point where they're like, people won't be able to play this. And
they wanted people to play that game that they put out, which is cool.
Yeah. Which is something I've heard reiterated a couple times from inside Square Enix of like, they don't want these, like why they did the pixel remasters and
Mm-hmm.
why they're doing like all these games and remasters and remakes is because they just don't want these games to vanish or be hard to find. So
I hope they feel that. Well, I mean, I guess they brought Chrono Trigger to PC.
they have, I mean, it's still very playable. If you want to play Chrono Trigger, you can play Chrono Trigger.
The DS version particularly is great. So
yeah. Maybe eventually we'll get a Switch version of it. But
yeah, you're right.
I mean, I think that's how they just look at it, is like, how easy is it for someone to play this game right now? If they wanted to play it, what do they need to do? And that's also why maybe Final Fantasy Tactics isn't, because if you have a tablet, I think even an Android or an Apple tablet, you can play Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, that's true.
It's on there,
yeah,
and
right.
It plays amazing. So there's not like a huge push on that. It's still available. It still works. It's compatible with all the devices. So I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I have Octopath, and I think there's anything else right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's a big chunky game to
it is a chunky game.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could go well into 100+ hours if you want to try to be completionist in it. There's so much like in-game content, that like hidden dungeons and super bosses and like max level weapon stuff.
Yeah, right.
Like it's a throwback to those older RPGs in that way. Of there's lots of hidden crap that's very powerful. Enjoy, like figure it out. So, but yeah,
the deeper. I mean, it's only March. The deeper we get into this year, I'm just like, wow, this is a fucking great year for games, and
it really is.
We're not even a fourth of the way through. I
Nope.
just, as we were talking, I just purchased Dead Cells Return to Castlevania.
Yep.
I hadn't done that yet. Man, that came out with fucking swinging.
It really did.
Woo.
Yep.
It's I don't know, maybe that and Octopath are from our two sides, the highest rated ones.
Possible.
That we each had. I think mine's stuck at 87. Last I saw it was 87. And I think yours is 86, Octopath.
Yeah.
I'll log it in right now to see. Doop, doop, doop.
But yeah,
87. Yep.
That's for
God damn, that's fucking great.
And it's crazy to me that it still can't get Octopath is 84.
Oh,
no.
84.
Yep.
Oh shit. Okay.
But it's even with yours, the 87 on that. Isn't it crazy that it still couldn't get to 90?
Say it again.
Isn't it crazy that the Dead Cells thing, even reviewing as well as it did, can't get an aggregate score of 90?
It is pretty crazy. I mean, 87 feels like a 90.
It's super
like
really hard. I'm like, okay. I think I'm like looking at our list. I'm like, really, for me, the next ones that have a chance of being like 90s is Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16. That's it.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at the rest and I'm like, probably not. I'll be honest.
What did Jedi...
If Silk Song comes out, maybe, but...
Oh, man, I have no fucking faith anymore it's coming out this year. Dude, and you know what? Speaking of that, for some dumb reason, I'm an idiot and drafted Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and that got pushed.
Oh, you put some more games. You got Dredge, Chia...
Oh, yeah. If you want to counterpick me, you've got... I've got 2 indies on there that might be good ones for you.
No, I love that you put Shadow of the Erdtree on there already, and I'm like, there's no way that's coming out this year.
I went back and looked at our rules. I'm like, what can I drop? Okay, I'm going to defensively pick this up in case and then drop it later in the year if it's very clearly not coming out this year. I still think it's not coming out this year.
No, I don't think it's coming out this year at all. But
I decided to waste some money to hold it just in case. Because, there are still things that haven't been announced this year that maybe...
Yeah. Actually, I don't think she and Dredge are going to do worse than 80 or worse than 70. I should say they're not going to go negative.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have games on my list that are hitting 80s.
They'll probably hit around an 80 somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think she is more likely to hit that bar, but Dredge, I'm not quite sure. It just looks really interesting to me. So
I played the demo of it before. It's fun.
Yeah, okay,
interesting.
Cool.
It's an interesting game. Yeah,
it's like Cthulhu fucking fishing, basically, right?
Yeah, and it has like a big like inventory management's a big part of the game.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of a fun thing of like the Tetris of inventory management actually matters. Well, we'll see if when Suicide Squad comes out, considering it sounds like it's been delayed.
Yeah, exactly. Wait to the backpack that you're like, that's probably not coming out this year now.
Probably not. And I don't think a delay is going to fix what people were really actually upset about.
No, it can't. You can't rework the game with this delay. So
yeah. Oh man, everyone chasing that stupid looter shooter.
Yep.
Everyone wants that Destiny money. They want to find it. Destiny doesn't even know how to chase its own money.
Yeah, the last release was not well received, wasn't it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's really not received well.
Yep. And it was just story-wise, or what the fuck?
I heard a lot of it was story. A lot of it was... I think generally gameplay is still fine. They didn't like the story. They didn't like the new city social area. It felt pretty bland.
Yeah.
So yeah, just general like meh unhappiness about it. But yeah, they'll figure it out. I feel like Destiny and a lot of expansion wise goes in like waves. Like this is the off expansion, so there's probably a good one coming. They seem to have a hard time staying consistent.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because there are people leaving, or
maybe or shifting around. I'm sure they have other stuff in the works as well, and people are moving over to new projects. But,
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, well, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna probably have to sit on The Last of Us for a bit. Think on that one.
Yep.
Fuck, so good.
Good stuff. Well, thanks everyone. This is episode 376 of Prof and Dev Play Games. If you haven't watched The Last of Us on HBO, we just spoiled the fuck out of it for you. But if you played the game, we didn't. So please go watch that. Holy shit. And we will be back next week to talk about some cool stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, folks. See you next week.
Later, everyone.